sun can start and going down. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, no, start and going down. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, no, no.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Just As TV. Thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to take the time out to like, rate, comment, and subscribe, because you definitely want to be over here for these reviews, child. We are giving them to you. I promised y'all that I would do 2 episodes of, I'm playing catch up, so I'm gonna be doing the Never Met, and that is what we are here to discuss today. I think I'm gonna have to break this up into 2 episodes because I don't want to make it a little too long, the video too long, but I definitely want to give y'all everything. And it was kind of these episodes were really good. I really like this show. I really like what they're trying to give. I like what they are trying to do for these couples. I like how things are flowing. It's just a matter of personality conflicts, and but it is what it is. So let's get right into it. This is episode 4 of the Never Met. So the episode starts off with the guys working out, and you can visibly see that there's a shift with Brandon and Sienna's relationship because of how it ended last episode, with them arguing and stuff all the time. Shay's pretty much grooming Josh, his face and his beard and his ear, and she's asking him all of these questions. Millie and Greg, they're discussing the fact that she feels a little rushed still, and she wants Tim to take it slow. She wants him to slow down, because she's enjoying the chemistry and she doesn't want to mess things up, which I agree. I think Millie and Greg have the best relationship in the house, to me. I feel like they're the couple that is going to succeed, and I'm going to keep saying this. I've been saying this from the beginning. I feel like they're the couple that's going to succeed over all of these other couples, because I see little cracks in each and every other couple outside of Millie and Greg. Right? Dymond and Millie and the girls are discussing the Jody and the little Aaron, their relationship, and the fact that Chris and Jody have better chemistry than little Aaron and Jody. Everybody agrees. Everybody sees it. They're both in denial. He is in denial. She is in denial. That's a river in Egypt, but they need to go there because that's where they are. Oh, they're there, but they need to come back out. I don't know. They can frame it however they want to frame it, but these eyes and ears don't lie. They don't have chemistry. So they seen. So they see that, Dymond and the girls discuss the fact that they see that Sandia was uncomfortable with the exchange between Chris and Jody the night before. And they want her to speak up for themselves. So they tell her that Sandia that she needs to confront Jody. Sandia and Chris talk over breakfast, and Chris feels that the girls are putting a battery in her back, and the fact that they don't like her and they just telling her things. And I'm just like, child, the gaslighting. Okay. He's putting things in her head like she doesn't have eyes of her own, like she doesn't see, like she hasn't been the one to initially come to him and tell him how she felt about that situation before Dymond and the girls spoke to her. But okay, Chris, we just gonna leave it how you see it, Chris. Not me, but she probably will. Classic gaslighting. But, she doesn't see it, so it is what it is. He then proceeds to call Jody into the room. Told y'all he triangulates often. Jody proceeds to co-sign with him and say that, and tells Sandia that the girls are telling her stuff because they don't like her. And I'm just like, girl, this is so male identified. It's not even funny. She is male identified to the umpteenth level. But whatever. Tyronda comes in the house. You know, she comes in to do the check in, you know, to check in on the couples. She has one-on-one conversations to see if they're doing okay. You know, she initially starts with Millie and Greg. So they say that they're still learning each other. He gives her a lot of compliments. I know he really thinks highly of her, and I appreciate that. You know, and she says she trusts him, but she's hiding something about her past. And you know, she kind of has a few traumas that she hasn't really disclosed with him. He says his mom is coming, and she says her sister is coming. And I really want to say this before I get to when they arrive. I love the dynamic. I love his mom. I love his sister. I love what they stand for. You can clearly tell that these families have cultivated peace and calmness over anything else, and communication and understanding. You can clearly tell that they have cultivated that. I like that. You know, the guys are having a conversation as a collective about Chris and Jody's relationship. Everybody has something to say about Chris and Jody's relationship. Everybody feels something about Chris and Jody's relationship. They all, you know, Greg explains that he should listen to Sandia's concerns, that Chris should listen to Sandia's concerns, and Chris he then flips it and says that Sandia is insecure. And I'm just like, where did that come from? And how did we get here? As opposed to you saying, well, maybe I should listen to what she's saying because she said it more than once. You deduce that she's insecure. Got it. Okay. Now, if everybody's saying the same thing and everybody's saying that they see it, how do you get that Sandia is insecure? If everybody's in your face telling you this. It's weird to me. But you like it, I love it. Now Chris begins to say that the women in the house have a problem with him because he ruffled a couple of feathers in the beginning when he made a couple of statements about Aaron, and I don't know. He was making some misogynistic statements, and he felt like he ruffled a couple of feathers, and I'm just like, okay. And little Aaron is right there agreeing with him like a fool, and I'm just like, you're gonna get egg on your face eventually. You'll see it, but we already see it, but you'll see it later. But you sitting there co-signing just like your dumb bozo girlfriend, and y'all both gonna have egg on y'all face. Brandon and Sienna check in. Sienna still thinks that how she communicates is okay. Brandon feels they need work, which I've been saying that. They both need work. She more than him, but they both need work. It is what it is. Taronda explains that Sienna's delivery is a little harsh, which I've been saying, and that she's always in her masculine energy. And I agree. Coming from New York, you have, and especially she's from the Bronx, so you kind of like in the defensive already. So I get it, but there's a time and a place to be that way, and a time and a place to be soft. And if he's not calling for all of that energy, then you need to be able to shift and tone it down. And she doesn't know how to do that. She just goes from 1 to 10, and she doesn't know. She doesn't have a medium. She doesn't have an in between, and she doesn't know how to regulate that. And she's too old to not understand that. Anyway, and then I also feel, to add to that, is that her viewpoint is a little bit obscured, you know, because she doesn't feel like she turns situations on their head, you know, and then sometimes she says things that didn't really happen. She takes it to places that didn't really happen. So I feel like your viewpoint is obscured a little bit as well. So it's not just only her communication, it's also the way she views things and sees how people address her or come at her, because she says things like she's been saying things that Brandon's never said, or like just like she said something about it felt like he was attacking her instead of the situation. I think in the last episode, my last review, I said that, and I'm just like, how did you get that from that, you know? And then the fact that she told her friend, like the stuff that she told her friend, and she tried to make it seem like he was doing all of this stuff without even consulting her. And I'm just like, that's not how it went. you kind of like stretching the truth a little bit. So she does have a problem with that as well. Tyronda said that Sienna is always on the defense. She's always in defense mode, and it's turning into a wildfire that needs to be tamed, or it will destroy everything around her. And I totally agree with that, because like I said, she goes from 0 to 100, and she doesn't have a medium, and she needs to get to a place where she can bring herself back down, and she doesn't. The fact that she went off on him so quickly, and she threw the flowers at him, and like, girl, you should be able to regulate your emotions or your feelings without somebody else's help or somebody else telling you that. And she's not there. She's too old to not be able to regulate her own emotions and her feelings and calm herself down. She just doesn't have that capability, so that's where I'm at with that. Brandon doesn't want to save the romantic side of the relationship. He feels like they can be friends, and he doesn't want to fight for it, which I agree. If somebody called me a B and was throwing flowers at me, and then like having these crazy outbursts to the whole house hears, and the whole house sees her toxic energy, I wouldn't want a relationship with her either, because that is just an insight into how the future of their relationship is going to be. It's not going to change unless she works on herself. And in order for her to work on herself, she has to have separation time to do so. And she has to see that there's something wrong. And currently she doesn't see that something is wrong. So I wouldn't want to break on a relationship with her either. I would release her and let her be, and then move on and find somebody else, because he does have the capability to do that. She has stuff to work on. He has stuff to work on too, but in this situation, I don't think they're right for each other. It's like oil and water. They don't mesh. That's just how I feel about them. Jody and little Aaron check in with Tyronda. Jody says the relationship okay, and immediately starts talking about her and Chris, the rumors that's swirling around the house about her and Chris. Tyronda says they give the roommate vibe and asks, how is the connection, or do they have a connection? Everybody said the same thing. She's giving roommate vibe to him. She's giving more so relationship vibe to Chris in their interactions. She thinks that if they date, they need to date a little bit more in order for them to have a connection. But they both look confused to me. And I'm confused. We all confused. Everybody in the house is confused. Child. Everybody in the house is confused. Millie's sister shows up. Millie's sister Sophia shows up. And right off the top, I could tell that they have a really close relationship. And Sophie says that she wants Millie to be happy in her relationship, and that she wants her to find her voice. I love that advice for her. I love that for her. I love their relationship. You can tell that she really cares for her sister, and she cares for her well-being, and she is a safe place for her sister. I love that for her. Within this conversation, we find out that that Millie was, abused and raped. And I really felt bad. She's a beautiful girl, and I feel like sometimes traumatic things happen to people, and it will stick you in a place. And you need to work through that. And I feel like Sophie is helping Millie work through that. And that's what a sister is supposed to do. That's what a sister is supposed to do. That's what a sister is supposed to be there for. To help you work out the kinks that you can't think all the way through. And Sophie embodies that for Millie. I like that. And then this kind of explains why she keeps telling Greg to like slow down, that she feels rushed, with the intimacy aspect of it, because he keeps trying to get intimate with her and she's not there yet. So now it explains why she's like that. Whereas before I misspoke and said that I feel like she hasn't working too hard, which that I take that back, because now I understand why. And I can relate anyway, because she needs to be comfortable with the person. She needs that comfortability factor, and I understand it. and I'll say, the reason why I say I understand it is because I'm like that too. Getting into a relationship, it's really hard for me to get intimate because things happened to me when I was younger as well. And I feel like in order for me to cross that threshold, I have to feel comfortable enough for us to go there. And if it's not a comfortable, safe space, then we ain't going there. So I understand why Millie feels like she needs that comfortability factor, because when things happen to a woman, they need that relationship trust, and they need to, understand that they can trust a guy, and that no harm is gonna come to them. And if you don't make her feel like that, then she's gonna book it. So I get it. And comfortability is a major factor when it comes to intimacy for a woman. So I understand, I feel like Sophia grounds Millie, and then she supports her. Like I said, she's a safe space for Millie, and I like that about her. So Sophia speaks with Greg, and I love their conversation as well. They both ask probing questions. They're intelligent questions. They're leading questions, so that they can have a conversation, that the conversation is going somewhere, that they're getting to a point where they can have, finalize and make sure that he is the right person for Millie and Millie is the right person for him. I like those things. The conversation flowed. They were able to understand one another. They were able to get to the point where he can be able to support Millie, and that Millie will be feeling supportive and as well as support him. I like that, and that's what not only a sister should do, but a friend should do also. And I feel like if Brandon and Sienna friends, or more so Sienna's friend, her friend, if she had the same sophistication that Sophie has with her conversation with Greg, I feel like she would have been able to tell Sienna, this is what you're doing wrong, you have to dial it back. But she didn't have that. So I feel like Sophie, like I said, I like the sophistication of their questioning. They both are giving each other good questions, and I like the flow of the conversation. Yeah. So like I said, I like that. Greg's mom shows up at this point, and she seems very, very sweet. He introduces her to Millie and her sister, and they talk a little bit, and I really like how things are going. Like I said, Greg's mom explains that she sees a change in him for the better, and she loves it. And I feel like growth is a good thing, and she sees that in her son. And I appreciate her honesty. I like that. All four of them mesh as a family, and I like that. They have a nice little exchange. It's pleasant. It's not crazy, traumatic, or anything like that. I like it. So Josh and Shay are in the intimacy room again, and that's all they do. I feel like that's all they do. I think they just came here to get free room and board so that they can do what they need to do, child. Allegedly. I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, Sandia and Chris check in with Tyronda. Sandia right away tries to explain that, her feelings about Chris and Jody's situation, and he continues to invalidate her feelings in front of Tyronda. And Tyronda sees it because she is honing in on it, and she is targeting him, especially when they finally, when they conclude this conversation. Tyronda says that they have a breakdown in communication, which I've been saying, but she says it's on, but she says it's on her part. I don't believe that. I don't know what I was writing, child. I was doing this review at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't believe that. Tyronda explains that she should reassure his actions as well, saying that because she starts talking about the fact that, no, this was I don't know. I got that part confused, so forgive me. I can't remember. it was 3:00 in the morning when I was doing this review write up. So, child, forgive me. I'm lost. Anyway, Tyranda says that they need to work on their communication, and Chris doesn't feel like he does. Sandia says when she talks to him, he makes her feel inferior, and he says that's her insecurity once again. So Sandia starts crying. And he really doesn't show too much affection towards her. But so Tyranda asks if they have any chemistry, and Chris starts future faking. Child, he starts saying all kinds of things, all the things that Sandia wants to hear to bring her back to the point where she had initially started, because the goalpost is always going to move with an arc. He was using word salad. He was just saying all the things. He was doing all the things, child. He wants to restart the cycle because he has insulted her in every episode, demeaned her in every episode. He has gave her false hope in every episode, yet the cycle is continuing because right now, in front of Tyranda, he is making her feel comfortable enough again so that he could start the cycle over again, love bomb, discard, all that good stuff, all that good stuff. He's going to do it all that. He, like I said, he's using word salad. He didn't even answer the question. But Tyranda recommends that the relationship expert, for Chris and Sandia. And I think they need to see her. I think, they need to see my girl, Dr. Romney, child. Chris right away says he doesn't want to do it. He's not going to do it. That's because he's going to be exposed. And he knows it. He's going to be exposed. And he knows it. Because he's trying to gaslight the crap out of this girl, child. The stuff that he was saying this whole episode, even next episode, I was just like, child, this girl, she is really wet behind the ears. Like, she is wet behind the ears. And when I say wet behind the ears, I mean she is like a baby. Because the stuff that she's saying in the confessionals, I'm just like, do you really believe this stuff? All the couples are in the kitchen cooking. And so Jody asks Chris what happened in their session. And I'm just like, girl, is that any of your business? Is that your place to ask him amongst this whole group what happened in their session? And why do you care so much? And why him of all people? Anyway, he proceeds to tell her what happened in their session. He says too many people is in each other's business. And then he proceeds to insult Sandia again by calling her weak-minded and easily influenced. Child, he said it out of his mouth again in front of her. Weak-minded. I said, child, I was about to lose it. But Dymond clocked it and she called him on it. The fact that he called her, she said simple-minded, but he said weak-minded. And I'm glad she caught it. I'm glad somebody else caught it other than me, because I was just like, did he just call this grown girl weak-minded? Okay, in front of her face to another woman? Got it. And Dymond steps in. So him and Dymond get to going back and forth. Him and Dymond have an exchange. Dymond explains that his relationship with Jody is weird and awkward, like we all think. And then Jody starts yelling, and I feel like Jody feels like because she's yelling that she's saying stuff, and she's not saying anything, child. She's just yelling. She's just yelling and screaming that, that people are lying and they capping. And I'm just like, no, they're not. But you like it, I love it. Her panties in a bunch. And she starts making all of these faces when everybody was speaking. And I'm just like, how old are you, 5? Child, you 5. Okay, girl, okay. No one is backing Dymond while she's standing there confronting Jody, and Chris just steps back and proceeds to let them argue. And I said, you see, he started the fire and these two chicks is fighting, and he just steps back and let it happen. Dymond expresses her concerns to Tyranda, to Aaron, older Aaron, that how everybody left her, alone to address the situation with Jody when everybody has an opinion, which is true. She's the only one talking, the only one saying stuff, and everybody else felt the same way. Nobody backed her up. And I just agree. I was like, child, okay. No, because nobody said anything. Anyway, so he says he didn't feel like he had to say anything because she had it. And I'm just like, what? Child, what? The whole time you've been counseling people, sitting down with people, talking with people, trying to give advice to people, and the one time that you're supposed to step in and give advice or back her up with her advice, you are silent. Okay, you should have had her back. Y'all should have been a unit. It shouldn't take. She shouldn't have to tell you that you're supposed to have her back. In the next episode, Greg stood in front of Millie when she was arguing with Chris and saying what she needed to say and checked Chris right then and there. You see how that works? That's what real men do. Stand up when the situations happen. Don't come after the fact. But we're going to get to that. Anyway, yeah, she felt like he didn't have her back, and I agree. He didn't have your back. He should have had your back. So Josh and Shay and Dymond and Aaron, they eat dinner in the boom boom room because they want to be. Shay says she want to be away from the energy, but I'm just like, oh, she want to be away from the energy and she wants to be. She doesn't want to be in other people's business. And I'm just like, but every time you turn around, child, you in somebody's business. Brandon and Sienna talking about Dymond. You talking to Dymond about everybody else in the house. You're always in somebody's business. So, girl, goodbye. Girl, goodbye. And Dymond is upset and she feels alone. Jody says she doesn't care. Chris thinks that dating in person is worse than dating online. Yeah, because you have to be your authentic self. And he doesn't know how to do that. So that's why he's gonna think dating online is better than dating in person. What? Who says dumb shit like that? Anyway, that was episode 4. Stay tuned and come back for episode 5. I think I'm going to split them up because it was a lot to talk about. But then again, they're just going to be short. But I'm going to still put them out. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys for episode 5.